All right, so this is the answers to ellipses, homework number 2. The center was at HK, so the center was not at 0, 0. So as you can see, the center is in the numerator of the fraction. It's the opposite sign, so it's going to be -3 and +2, right? And then, so I wrote in the center. And then I looked at the denominators and I saw this was A, and this is B. And that tells me I need to go, look, B is bigger, 5. That's my major axis. That means it's vertical because underneath the Y is the B and Y is a vertical line. So I'm going to have a vertical ellipse. So I go 5 up from the vertex. I go 5 down from the vertex. My co-vertex is the 2. I go 2 to the right, 2 to the left. And that gives me my points. And then I write down what the ordered pairs are. Okay? The foci is going to be c squared equals the absolute value of a squared minus b squared. So that's going to be 4 minus 25, rad 21, 4.5. In order for me to calculate my foci, I go to the center, I go 4.5 up, and I go 4.5 down. And those ordered pairs are right here. Number 2, I had to divide by 225. So I divided by 225, and I got x plus 1 squared over 25, because 9 divided by 225 is 25. And guys, please notice, this is no coincidence that the 9 that was in front of the x became the denominator of the y when I divide by 225. The 25, which was with the y, became the denominator of the x squared, which is 25 divided by 25 divided by 225 is 9. So the numbers switch places. Did you know that 9 times 25 is 225? It's all related. Because 25 is the bigger number, A equals 5, B equals 3. The 5 is underneath the x. That means it's a horizontal axis. So it's going to go this direction, right to left. I go to my center. I go 5 to the right, and I go 5 to the left, and I make my vertex. Then for my co-vertex, I look and I say, hey, it's 9. All right, well, that's square root of 9 is 3. So 3 up and 3 down. So what's left is for me to find my foci, my C, right? Well, it was square root of 16, which was 4. So that was just 4 to the right, 4 to the left. So there's that. Okay. So that looks good as is. What questions do you have about number 1 and number 2? Am I explaining it okay? No, yes. Guys, we have a quiz tomorrow. If you need something like slower, or you need me to say it again or repeat it, whatever, you have to speak up. No one's going to speak up for you except for you. So that was 1 and 2. All right, graphing number 3. Here we go. So this giant needs to be put into standard form. I moved over the 49, okay? So I group the x's together. I'm completing the square. I group the x's together and I group the y's together. So that's right here. Then I found that there was a GCF and that I cannot complete the square if there is a number in front of the x squared or the y squared. like it has to have a 1 for me to properly complete the square. So I did factor out a 9, x squared plus 6x. Then cut 6 in half, square it. I GCF factored out a 4. I got y squared minus 2y, and then I cut b in half and squared it. All right, it still equals negative 49. Sorry. Then 6 divided by 2 squared is 9. I underlined and I pinked 9, 9 because I need to multiply, add that 81 to the right side. I also need to add the 4 times the 1 to the right side. X squared plus 6x plus 9 factors down to x plus 3, x plus 3. The 9 is still outside. Y squared minus 2y plus 1 factors down to y minus 1 squared. The 4 is still in front. Negative 49 plus 81 plus 4, that's 36. Divide by 36. So here I go. Okay. All right. Then 4 is underneath x. That means a equals 2. 9 is underneath y. That means b equals 3. I need to notice that since the b is bigger, it's going to be a vertical ellipse. And this doesn't look very good. I'm sorry, my spacing is not perfect. So that's the problem. Okay. So since this is going to be a vertical ellipse, I go 3 up from the center and 3 down from the center. I go 2 to the right from the center and 2 to the left from the center. Then I just plot all these, I write down the ordered pairs of all these points. So as you can see, I did that. My foci, how to find my foci? Well, it's rad 5 because I did, 4 minus 9. Okay, so that gives me the rad 5. Rad 5 is the same as 2.2. So, since this is a vertical ellipse, the major axis is up and down. That's where my foci go. From my center, I went 2.2 up, and then I went 2.2 down. So that's number 3. Okay, number 4. I'll leave that in case you're still copying number 3. Remember, this video is going to be posted on YouTube, so you can look over this. And then obviously you should be looking over the other circle videos as well for studying. Okay? Sorry. Number 4. Long equation. I put the 11 on the other side. Okay. Put the x's together. 4x squared minus 16x. And then 9y squared plus 18y. So I'm going to factor out a 4. I put it in pink because obviously we're going to add it to the other side. So my b is negative 4. b divided by 2 squared. Negative 2 squared is 4. So this 4 times 4 needs to be added to the other side. Then I GCF'd out a 9. Y squared plus 2y, and then I did b divided by 2 squared. 2 divided by 2 squared. That's 1 squared. The 9 times 1 is 9. Just wrote a 1. It's a 9. Okay. 11 plus 16 plus 9. Okay, now I'm going to go to my trinomial here. X squared minus 4x plus 4. Factored is x minus 2, x minus 2. Y squared plus 2y plus 1 is y plus 1, y plus 1. So there's that. The 4 that I factored out stays in front. The 9 that I factored out stays in front. And then I have my 36. Okay. Divide by 36. Everything so that I will get a 1 on the right-hand side. Underneath the x squared is a 9. That means that a equals 3. Underneath the y squared is a 4. That means that b equals 2. Okay. So there we go. Hey, a is bigger. It's going to be a horizontal. The major axis is horizontal. From my center is positive 2, negative 1. I go 3 to the left and 3 to the right. That's what the 3 does. 3 to the left, 3 to the right. Because my minor axis is the 2, I go 2 up and 2 down. You know, the whole thing up and down is 4. The whole thing side to side is 6, but it's only, 3 each direction. Go ahead and, as you can see, 3 and 4 are similar with the 9s and the 4s. So there's only so many variations that math teachers can make these math problems so that completing the square works. So. All right. I just wrote down what the, vertexes were. Okay, questions on 3 and 4? Okay. So 5. Okay, on number 5, if I know the center and then I know all the vertices, it's easy for me to figure out how far is it all the way across? How far is it up and down? Okay, the major axis is vertical, so it's shaped like this. So you do have to draw this shape, okay? But it's not too difficult. So 5 was simple, you had to graph it. 6 and 7 though, and you know what, 8 was pretty nice too, because once you graph it, you're able to figure out the center and all that. But 6 and 7, I didn't want to explain. Okay, number 6 says that the center is at 0, 2. My major axis is horizontal and a length of 6. 6 from side to side, right? 6 left, 6 from left to right. That means that the middle is 3. Do you get that? If my whole ellipse is 6 long, then the center point must be 3 in the middle. So I did my picture of it. Number 6. So my center was 0, 2, I plotted it. And then I said that the major horizontal axis is 6 long. Well, you guys, 2a equals 6. And why I say that is because I've got a is this long, right? So 2a equals 6. And obviously you know then that A equals 3. 3 to the right, 3 to the left. Okay. Now, I've got that my A, because that's my major axis, is a 3 squared, which makes it a 9. And this is like x minus 0 squared, right? X squared. My minor axis is 2. 2 up, 2 down. Okay? Well, I'm sorry, 2 from top to bottom. That means only 1 up, 1 down. Sorry, 1 up, 1 down. So that's why there's a 1 below the y. That's number 6. Okay, number 7. The center is at negative, okay. The center is at negative 2 comma 2. So, oh, okay, hold on. Let me do something real quick. So this is negative 2 comma 2, right? Which means that if it says that the major axis is vertical, then that means that B is larger than A. With a length of 2 rad 5. 2 rad 5 means from top to bottom. So that means I go rad 5 up and rad 5 down. Do you see that? Rad 5 up. I don't want to do it in mark and pen. Rad 5 up and rad 5 down. That's what makes 2 rad 5, right? So I did that. I said 2 times B equals 2 rad 5. Because double B is 2 rad 5. That means that it's just from my center, rad 5 up and rad 5 down. So I know my B and I know my C. Minor axis, I'm sorry, C equals rad 2. It's in the problem, right? C equals rad 2. So C equals radical 2. I don't know what A is. So I'm going to use my formula. Check this out. C squared equals the absolute value of A squared minus B squared. Okay? C is rad 2. So I plugged that in and I plugged in B, rad 5. Then I went through and I said, 2 is equal to something minus 5. Well, what minus 5 is 2? Okay, and remember, B has to be bigger than A. So, since B is bigger than A, then A squared has to be 3. Okay, 5 was bigger, so I had to pick a number smaller than 5. Pick a number smaller than 5, because it's not 7. 7's not smaller than 5. The only other option is 3 minus 5. So that means that A squared equals 3. Okay, A squared is 3. B is rad 5, so B squared is just 5. I didn't have to draw it, I just had to write the equation. Okay, any questions? That's 7. Let's talk about 8. On number 8, I had to draw them, all those vertices. And then it was obvious where the center was, and that this was A squared, A equals 6, B equals 2, get it? That's number 8. Okay, number 9. In the United States Capitol, there's an elliptical chamber in which a person standing at the focus point, so I'm not standing at the wall, I'm standing at the focus point, can easily be heard by another person standing in the other focus point. So I'm like, here's the walls of the room, a little bit in. If you stand in those, because of the way it's shaped, you can hear the echoing, you know, from another person talking. So someone's going to eavesdrop on this conversation. That's what's happening. First of all, I have to draw the formula. If it's 46 wide, that means it's 23 in one direction and 23 in another direction. 96 is 48 in one direction and 48 in another direction. So that's where I got my A and my B. The center is just going to be the center, okay? So that's how I found the formula. Then it says, so I drew an equation showing you like 48, one, and 48, another, 23 and 23, right? Okay. A politician noted this feature of the chamber because the desk of the opposing party's floor was at one focus. So we have a desk at one end and a desk at the other end, and they're like in the focuses. So let's say the desk is right here. Here's the desk. Here's a desk. And then it basically is like, find the foci. Where should one stand so that they can overhear and eavesdrop, which is awful because you should not do that. So I did my A minus B to get my C squared. Where's the focus? The focus is 42 feet from the center. So I had to do my A squared minus B squared. The desk should be 42.1 feet from the center. So 84.2 feet from the other focus. The desks are 84.2 feet apart. Okay. Did you know that math was in the United States Capitol? Yay! So exciting, right? Okay, let me stop the recording.